and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration, and for related matters, be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Konda.
Yes, my leader. Thank you, my right honorable speaker, honorable colleagues. Agbedi Yejimune Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Keremo Federal Constituency. Izonkeme, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion. The bill as ably moved by Professor Ihonvere. I so second.
Lead the debate.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable Professor Julius Ihonvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise today to bring, at least initiate a step towards bringing to fruition the dreams of many of our great leaders of the past. And whether we're talking of the late General Bumudia or General Kubu Gowon, former leader of this country, late Professor Ambrose Ali, General Ibrahim Babangida, Chief Odige Oyegun, and many others. These leaders have at one time or the other visited Edo State, Afuze in particular, and made commitments to utilizing the established facilities and others that we were dreaming about, and create a foundation, a platform for the growth and development of sports in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to go into the disappointments that Nigerians have felt over the years following the dismal performances, our dismal outings. We even went to Olympic competitions and came back with not even a bronze medal and different other levels. But I want to point out that this dream behind this institution has been on for a very, very long time. And I think with given the existing facilities at the location, it's only necessary that we pull all together and for the first time have a University of Sports in Nigeria. It will be the first in West Africa, the first in Africa, but not the first in the world. In fact, given the commitments of previous presidents of this country, previous leaders, the people, the good people of Afuze, donated 148 hectares of land to the federal government through the National Sports Institute for the establishment of this institution. It was used as an Olympics village, as a Games village, and many sportsmen and women that went through that institution have brought laurels to this country. In fact, at one time, the national team had about 6 sportsmen, footballers, who had at one time or the other attended that institution. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, there are facilities on ground that would enable the takeoff of this institution when established. And they are well detailed in the lead paper that has been circulated twice in this House. But, Mr. Speaker, the reason, the justification why we are pushing that a Federal University of Sports be established has more to do with creating not just training facilities, not just educational facilities, not just opportunities to train managers, but to create for a change an opportunity for Nigeria to begin to take its place in the world of sports. Now, we all know that in the world today, Mr. Speaker, sports business is big business. A world heavyweight boxer today, in one fight, can make more than the budget of many states in this country. Countries in Europe are taking sports as a national responsibility. And if you look at the lead paper we submitted, we have listed several nations, from Sweden to Norway to the United States to China to India to Germany, that have established universities of sports because they wanted to provide that opportunity to empower their people, expand the understanding of sport, the teaching of sports, and provide career professionals that will continue to ensure that sports moves in the right direction and brings not just laurels, international recognition, but also the recognition. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to conclude by drawing attention to the fact that the Federal University of Sports, Afuse, will be an institution where many of our former sportsmen and women have even expressed a desire to come and be part and parcel of the teaching, the research, the training, and other requirements to move the institution forward. And that institution, in a short time, will become self-funding because it will attract sportsmen, women, and administrators from around the world. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you, respected colleagues. I suppose this is a very straightforward bill. If you permit me, I'll put a question. Those in favor of the bill of the second time say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for now to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Sports, Afuse, Edo State, and to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration, and for later matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to Committee on Sports. Respected colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, Mubi, Adamawa State, and for later matters, starting the name of Jafar Abubakar Magaji. All members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 12 February 2020. I now invite Honorable Magaji to move that the bill be read the second time.
Mr. Speaker,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Jafar Abubakar Magaji is my name. I am representing Mubi North, Mubi South, and my federal constituency of Adamawa State. I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center, Mubi, Adamawa State, and for related matters to read for the second time. It's awesome.
Yes, Honorable Jafar.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Jafar Ribadu. I represent Yola North, Yola South, Gire Federal Constituency. My Speaker, I am from Adamawa State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, Jafar Magaji, on the establishment of a Federal Medical Center Mubi. I say so.
Jafar, lead the debate.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the privilege. I remain Honorable Jafar Abubakar Magaji. I'm representing Mubi North, Mubi South, and my federal constituency of Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, I thank you for the privilege to lead the debate on the general principles of this important bill that seeks to establish Federal Medical Center Mubi, Adamawa State. This bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, 11 February 2020. Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to establish Federal Medical Center Mubi, Adamawa State in order to provide timely medical care for entire people living in that area and beyond, and also to track, monitor, and control disease outbreak. It is of importance to recall that Mubi is one of the places ravaged by the insurgency's attack. Therefore, it is a strategic location for establishing a Federal Medical Center in the area. When established, it will take care of medical needs for patients, not only from Mubi, but also Maiha, Michika, Madagali Hong, and some other local government areas of Adamawa State. Also places like Gwaza Biu, Askira Oba, and Chibok in Borno State. Mubi, which is local government headquarters of Adamawa State Northern Senatorial District, is one of the most populated areas. Its distance to Yola and the bad condition of the road is indeed causing untold hardship and unnecessary delay to patients who are in emergency need of medical attention. At times, some lose their lives on transit while trying to access Federal Medical Center Yola. The recent decision of the federal government through the National University Commission to upgrade Modibo Adama University of Technology Yola to a conventional university and also Federal Medical Center Yola to a teaching hospital of the university. And the increase in population of Adamawa State. Therefore, another federal tertiary health institution is not only desirable, but also necessary. The bill comprised of Section 1 to 26, Schedule and Explanatory Memorandum. Section 1 to 6 provide for the establishment of the Federal Medical Center Mubi, the Board of Management of the Medical Center. Membership of the board, tenure of office, cessation of membership, and allowances. Section 7 to 8 provide for the functions and powers of the board. Section 9 to 12 provide for the medical director of the medical center, appointment of directors and other staff of the Federal Medical Center. The services of the medical center to be pensionable and the establishment of the Medical Advisory Committee, etc. Section 13 to 19 provide for the funds of the medical center expenditure.
Honorable Jafar, I think you have given us enough points for us to consider, and I want to beg that we put the question. Thank you. You may have your seat if you were very okay with your submission. The remaining prayers we have to go to Comrade to lobby him. Thank you. Those in favor of the motion that the bill be read to content say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Federal Medical Center Mubi, Adamawa State, and for later matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Tertiary Education. Health? Sorry, health services. And institutions? Don't create confusion. Let me say, bill referred to relevant committees of the House. Thank you. Respected colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Medicine and Health Sciences, BIDA, Niger State, for the purpose of providing qualitative education in medicine and health science and related matters standing in Honorable Saeed Musa Abdullahi. All members recall the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 5th November 2019. I now invite Honorable Abdullahi to move that the bill be read the second time.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Saeed Musa Abdullahi, member representing the people of Bida, Bakokacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Niger State. I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish Federal University of Medicine and Health Science, Bida, be read a second time. I so...
Seconder, they say we should be gender sensitive. Honorable Luka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Taiwo Oluga. I represent all the people of Irewole Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I rise to second the motion as moved by the bill moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Honorable Jaffa, lead the debate.
Mr. Speaker, this is a straightforward bill that seeks to establish a specialized University of Medicine and Health Sciences, just the way we have specialized universities of agriculture, technology, and education. Mr. Speaker, the desire to establish a specialized University of Medicine and Health Sciences through legislation of this hallowed chamber stem from the need to create more opportunities and level playing ground for Nigerian students, and to also address the acute shortage of medical workforce in the country. Mr. Speaker, today the number of Nigerian students seeking admission to study medicine, in particular in health sciences in general, seems to be on the increase. But unfortunately, a significant percentage of this fail to get admitted, not because they do not possess the requisite capacity or knowledge, but clearly because our tertiary institutions do not have the capacity to accommodate their interest. With an estimated population of over 200 million, the doctor-to-patient ratio is said to be 1:4,000 in the country today. This is against the World Health Organization recommendation of 1 doctor to 1,000 patients. It is really an irony that countries like ours, with the greatest burden of health challenge, have much smaller health workforce. If we compare our position with sister countries like India, Brazil, and Malaysia, we will realize that they are far ahead of us. Mr. Speaker, India, for one, has over 479 medical schools as of today, with an annual intake of over 67,000 MBBS students. The number is almost equal to total number of registered medical practitioners in Nigeria today. Available records also show that Malaysia has a doctor-to-patient population of 1:633, with an ambitious target of 1:400. This is an eye-opener for us, and that should lead us to take drastic decisions in order to be able to close the gap. Mr. Speaker, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian University Commission recently was quoted to have said that the country needs additional 300 medical doctors in order to meet up with the World Health Standard. And I add that we urgently need to move away from the fixation of scarcity of doctors to deliberately take necessary steps in changing the narrative. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, effective healthcare, which is a function of the availability of adequate and well-trained health workforce, is a citizen's right. And with our growing population, which is estimated at 2.6% per annum, it will be a tragedy if we don't take deliberate steps to redress and close the gap. Interestingly, be that the proposed location of the university currently has a federal medical center that can support and serve the training needs of the proposed university. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, in the spirit of our collective commitment to jointly build this country, I rise to hold my respected colleagues to support that the bill be read the second time and refer to the relevant committee for further legislative action. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Colleagues, I thought this is a very straightforward bill, seeking to establish Federal University of Medicine. And he has given a very eloquent and elaborate statistics of what the ratio is between patient, doctor. Thank you. So I want to put the question. Observe. Which rule is that? You want to observe? Those in favor of the bill, direct contact say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to do the long title of the bill. It's good. It will be good if you take that seat for my leader.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Medicine and Health Sciences, BIDA, Niger State, for the purpose of providing qualitative education in medicine and health services and for related matters. Second reading.
be referred to Committee on Health Institutions. Respected colleagues, the sixth order of the day is a motion on consideration of outstanding bills from the preceding assembly pursuant to Order 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Order of the House of Representatives. Standing on Abuka Fulata. Honorable Fulata is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abubakar Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Woody Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Reconsideration of outstanding bills from the Preceding Assembly. Chestnut Institute of Auctioneers of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2020 HB 702. Nigerian French Language Village Establishment Bill 2020 HB 737. Nigerian Arabic Language Village Establishment Bill 2020 HB 738. Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2020 HB 711. House notes that pursuant to Order 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, bills passed by the preceding Assembly and forwarded to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made or negatived, or passed by the Senate and forwarded to the House for which no concurrence was made or negatived, or which were passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the Assembly. The House may resolve that such bills, upon being regazetted or clean copies circulated, be reconsidered in the Committee of the Whole without being commenced de novo. Also note that aforementioned bills were passed by the preceding Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the last Assembly. Aware that bills were regazetted as House Bills 702, 737, 738, and 711 respectively, and read the first time, resolved to commit the bills to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration. I so move.
Gonda, yes, acting with.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by the Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business. As also second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the seventh order of the day is a motion on need to assess the quality of work on the Abuja-Lokoja dual carriageway, standing now Honorable Hassan Abdullahi. Honorable Abdullahi is invited to the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague. My name is Hassan Abdullahi. I represent the good people of Basa, Dekina Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Kogi State. I rise to move a motion on the need to assess the quality of work on the Abuja-Lokoja dual carriageway. The House know that the contract for the reconstruction of Abuja-Lokoja Expressway awarded to Dantata and Sao, RCC Construction Limited, Bulletin Construction Company Limited, and Gito Contruziani Generali Nigeria Limited in 2006, with some of the contractors having completed their section while others appear to be experimenting. They also know that the dual carriageway has become dangerous for thousands of Nigerians that ply the very busy road with strange folds, contours, and potholes that have continued to frighten drivers and passengers, those leading to harrowing traveling experiences with the stretches between Giri Junction to the main Gwagwalada town and between Abaji and Lokoja being the worst sections. Further note that the 196-kilometer highway is one of the most critical roads in the country, being the major link between the north and south for the movement of people and goods through vehicular transportation. Equally note that the road has turned to a death trap as a result of heavy traffic and badly constructed portion
which have led to daily multiple accidents, resulting to death and destruction of properties worth several millions of naira. Mr. Speaker, I want the House to resolve to urge the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing to carry out an evaluation of the contract for the reconstruction of Abuja-Lokoja carriageway to assess the quality and durability of the construction and ascertain its conformity with the architectural and engineering design in line with the contract specification. Number 2, mandate the Committee on Works to liaise with the Minister of Works and Housing and stakeholders to review the conflicting issues on the construction of the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway with the view of balancing information on the state of the construction of the road and report back in 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Seconder. Deputy Chairman, Women Affairs. At least we are maintaining the gender sensitivity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. My name is Vincent Kenneth Delichuku Ofumelo. I'm the member representing the good and most natural people of Oyi and I am a federal constituency of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, I represent the entire women in the whole federation, including my mother and the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. I severely moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Respected colleagues, this is an infrastructure-related motion, so I now put a question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Respected colleagues, the 8th order of the day is a motion on urgent need to complete the abandoned Owena multi-purpose dam project standing now honorable Tajuddin Adeyemi. Honorable Adeyemi is invited to put the motion.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Tajuddin Adeyemi. I represent the good people of Idonre Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ondo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion for the urgent need to complete the abandoned Owena multi-purpose dam project. The House. Note that the 6 local government areas of Akure South, Akure North, Idonre, Ifedore, Ondo East, and Ondo West that make up Ondo Central Senatorial District of Ondo State have been unfairly denied access to potable water and other associated benefits due to the long abandonment of the Owena multi-purpose dam project, which rehabilitation is however ongoing. Recall that the federal government, in partnership with the Ondo State government, embarked on the wholesale rehabilitation of Owena Dam more than a decade ago through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and the Benin Owena River Basin Development Authority. Aware that the dam, which has one of the biggest reservoirs in the southwest region of Nigeria, has since been converted to a multi-purpose use in line with the functions of the River Basin Development Authorities. Also aware that the Owena multi-purpose dam, located at Igbaroke in Ifedore Federal Constituency of Ondo State, with the capacity for 60,000 cubic meters per day, can provide potable water for almost 2 million persons and industries in the 6 local government areas on a daily basis. Aside the supply of potable water, the multipurpose dam is also designed to serve the purpose of hydropower generation, irrigation, fishing, recreation, tourism, and ecosystem protection. Informed that the construction of the dam and the water treatment plant are basically the responsibility of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Benin Owena River Basin Development Authority, while the responsibility of the reticulation from the water treatment plant to the beneficial communities and towns making up the 6 local government areas is that of the Ondo State government. Concerned that the dam rehabilitation project, which had attained 70% completion, has remained abandoned for more than a decade now, despite the enormous resources already committed to the project. Further concerned that while the proposed beneficial communities area are still struggling to obtain their drinking water from unhygienic sources, the roads leading to the dam have already succumbed to destructive impacts of erosion, and the entire project site has also been taken over by weeds and all sorts of harmful reptiles. Also concerned that Owena multipurpose dam, which has the potential to effectively irrigate 5,000 acres of land, is at best now only able to irrigate just 300 acres of land with the use of center pivot irrigation system. Cognizant of the need to ensure the completion of abandoned Owena multipurpose dam project in order to save the hapless citizens from needless miseries, resolves to mandate the Committee on Water Resources to investigate the reasons for the abandonment of the Owena multipurpose dam project and report back within 8 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir. My chairman ethics.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Kolawe Lawal, representing the Guado South Kukia Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ogun State. I hereby rise to second the motion moved by my honorable colleague. I also second my Mr. Speaker.
Okay. It's an infrastructure related question, so yes, sir, that I know. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the ninth order of the day is a motion on provision of adequate road traffic signs on federal highways, standing in the name of Honorable Victor Mela. Honorable Mela is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, my name is Victor Mela Danzaria. I represent the people of Balanga Plenary Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move the motion for the provision of adequate road traffic signs on federal highways. The House notes that Nigeria has about 194 kilometers of road network, which is the largest in sub-Sahara. Aware that most of those roads were built more than 40 years ago and are not being properly maintained over the years. As a result, some of the signs put up on the roads have been destroyed or blocked by trees and shrubs. Also aware that one of the most integral elements of smooth flow of traffic on the highway is the proper posting and visibility of road signs which indicate the condition of highways to the drivers. Worried that most of the dangerous areas on the highway, such as sharp bends, uphill, downhill, and blind spots, do not have adequate warning signs, and sometimes construction sites, a result that has resulted in many avoidable accidents. Also worried, some of the armed forces checkpoints on the federal highways don't have caution traffic signs from 50 meters away to the barricade, indicating the existence of roadblocks, and this has caused many avoidable accidents. Concerned that the rate at which accidents occur in Nigeria is very alarming, especially during festive periods, with no fewer than 2,598 Nigerians in road accidents between October 2017 and March 2018, according to the statistics by the Federal Road Safety Commission. Aware that physical ability and mobility from road accidents do affect the young and the economically productive age groups, and sometimes those who survive often enjoy a diminishing quality of life from deformities and disabilities. Cognizant that providing adequate road signs will mitigate road accidents on our highways. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing and Federal Road Maintenance Agency to ensure that traffic signs are installed on all federal highways. Also urge the Federal Road Safety Commission to provide entry measures before permanent signs are put up along the highways. Again, urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to ensure that all federal highways do not have trees, shrubs, and obstacles close to the roads. And finally, mandate the Committee on Works and FEMA to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear honorable colleagues, I am Engineer Joseph Asuku Bello, representing the great people of Adavi, Okay Federal Constituency. I am from Kogi State. I rise today to second the motion ably moved by my brother, Honorable Victor. I so second.
Respected colleagues, this is an infrastructure-related motion, so I put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Respected colleagues, the 10th order of the day is a motion on need to introduce cardiopulmonary disclosure as a subject in primary and secondary schools curriculum and provide them with basic first aid and skills standing now on Honorable Jerry Lagboson. Honorable Lagboson is about to move the motion.
Thank you, my dear Speaker, honorable members. My name is Jerry Alabos. I'm from Imo State, representing our law, also and East Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my motion is on the need to introduce cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, as a subject in primary and secondary schools curriculum and provide them with basic first aid and skills. I so present.
Seconder. Dozie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. I remain Honorable Ferdinand Dozie Wanko. I represent the group of Nchikoka, Northia, Dunugopia Federal Constituency, and I'm from Anambra State. I rise to support the motion heavily moved by my colleague, Honorable Jerry Alaboson.
Again, this is an infrastructure-related motion, so I put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. Let's have it. Respected colleagues, the 11th order of the day is a motion on the urgent need to investigate the unwarranted extortion of truck operators and port users by law enforcement agencies in Atapapa, Port Sandy, now Honorable Olusola Steve Fatoba. Honorable Fatoba is invited to put the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Fatoba Olusola Steve, member representing Ado-Ekiti, Irepo-Odu Ifelodun Federal Constituency. I rise to move a motion on urgent needs to investigate the unwarranted extortion of truck operators and other port users by law enforcement agents at Apapa Port. The House notes that Apapa Port in Lagos has been immersed in crisis and traffic gridlock over a long time, which led to the establishment of a federal task team to restore law and order on the road leading to the nation's seaport. Also note,
go back to a seat.
Also note that the team of law enforcement agents comprising men of the Nigerian Police Force, Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASMA, and others are at the port to maintain law and order and control vehicular movements in and out of the port, particularly movement of trucks going to load and unload containers at the port. Worried that the law enforcement agents that are supposed to maintain law and order at the port have now formed a cartel in cahoots with unscrupulous staff of APM Terminal, Apapa, Nigerian Port Authority workers, extorting money from each truck operator in amount ranging from 200,000 to 300,000 to gain entrance into the port to load or offload containers. And this ugly trend has been going on unabated for years, but became worse after the naval officers were removed from the operation, as the sum of 60,000 to 100,000 naira were started when the naval officers were in charge of the operation. Also worried that as a result of the activities of the law enforcement agents, a truck may spend up to 2 months before gaining access into the terminal, which is causing a lot of hardship and which increase in the cost of doing business, which may inevitably lead to unrest and breakdown of law and order by the frustrated and oppressed truck operators. Aware that the federal government has been making frantic efforts to facilitate ease of doing business at the port, but it appears that there is a deliberate effort by some people or group of people to frustrate the effort of the government because of their selfish interests. Concern about the general perception, especially by importers and exporters, clearing and forwarding agents, and truck operators, that the problems are lingering because of the belief that the leadership of the law enforcement agencies concerns were benefiting directly or indirectly from the crisis. Hence, there is no incentive for them to provide enduring solutions. Resolve to mandate the Committee on Wars and Housing to investigate. Put another one. To urge the Nigerian Port Authority.
Point of order.
It's mistaken.
Point of order, so please. Which point of order, leader? No, you should refer us to the point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelo, and I represent the good people of Anechosh in the Federal Constitution from Delta State. Rising from the order that I've pointed out, the resolution that my colleague is trying to put forward has to do with ports authority, and it has nothing to do with works and housing. And I'm thinking that there should be an amendment or to that effect instead of us channeling it to works and housing.
I would beg to not to take the point of why I take note of what the leader have said, but we have agreed that motion on notice are supposed to come with amendments because this is a motion on notice, and I believe members have seen. So the best thing to do is to write an amendment. Thank you, sir. Be guided too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The distinguished honorable colleagues. I noticed a typographical error because what I have in my original DC was different. My original motion as
electing the Committee on Rules and Business. So they have to defend themselves. Is it a typographical error? So, how can that be a typographical error? Introducing a different committee for a function, if your prayers are like that, then it means Chairman rules. Can you explain to us?
No, I don't know. I don't know what was your recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I have in my original. Sir?
It's different now.
From this, I have the document here, but what I have in my original motion, the prayers is different from what I'm seeing here, sir. Okay.
But it's different. But they amended it. They amended it when they were typing it. Do you understand? They amended it when they were typing it. Oh, that was simple to solve. No, but the change, ad hoc committee is not so much. Ad hoc committee was about was on that dot committee. Since they have committee, what is saying that you change his own prayers from committee on harbor to committee on works as they lead change his prayers, Mr. Speaker. No, we would not like to step it down. but it's good. You see, are you convinced what is written on the order paper is your own motion? Mr. Speaker, if it's right that this document, Mr. Speaker, I will apply that the document, the motion be stepped down by the House.
No, he's adopting it. He's adopting it.
I want to beg, just be guided, please. Don't just make statement anyhow. The next one we'll have requested to be done is to check the original of your own copy, because the body of the motion can be tampered with, not the prayers. If you say the prayers is tampered, of course it's a serious and grievous issue. No, Honorable Mikhail, yes, the coaching is not finished. Honorable.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree the same prayer here is the same prayer I submitted. To resolve to mandate the Committee on Works and Housing to investigate the activities of law enforcement agents and terminal operators at Apapa Port with a view to finding a lasting solution to the suffering of the truck operator at the port and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. 2, to urge the Nigerian Port Authority and the concessionaire APM Terminal Apapa to fashion out modalities and processes that will be in conformity with the international best practice on truck management at ports. Thank you, Mr. President. I so move.
Mr. Colleagues, this is an investigative motion, so I will take a seconder and then take amendments, then we'll put the question. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Shina Pella. I represent the people of Iseyin, Itesiwaju, Kajola, Iwajowa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Oyo State. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Fatoba. I so second.
Now the amendment. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I amend prayer 1 to read mandate the Committee on Police Affairs, State Security Service, and National Security and Intelligence, Port Harbor Committees to investigate the activities of the law enforcement agents and terminal operators at the Apapa Port and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleague, my name is Honorable Jimo Olushola Ojubele, member representing Adu Dota Federal Constituency. I hereby second the amendment as moved by the minority.
In favor of the amendment, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to the relevant committees of the House. The 12th order of the day is a motion on need to encourage basic medical checkups by Nigerians, standing in the name of Honorable Dozie Wanko. Honorable Wanko is invited to move the motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Ferdinand Dozie Wanko, member representing the good people of Njikoka and Ocha Dunukofia Federal Constituency and from Anambra State. The House is aware that medical checkup.
No.
What?
Move the first sentence.
No. It's already here.
No, have you seconded it?
Seconded what? No. Papa. The House is aware that medical checkups are exercises that detect life-threatening health conditions or diseases on time, as well as provision of more education about one's health, so as to keep him or her on top of it. The House is also aware that it is not just hardship and insufficiency that prevents people from going for periodic medical checkup, but ignorance and interest, since well-to-do individuals in the society also fail to take advantage of this provision to live longer and at the same time stay healthy. The House notes that much as medical checkups are very vital to all, public awareness and sensitization of citizens on needs to go for medical checkups are still at the lowest level. The House is concerned that such failure and negligence by citizens have brought about the prevailing health hazard, high rate of untimely deaths, complications in cases that ordinarily would have been effectively managed had they been handled early enough. The House also concerned that the inability to go for basic medical checkups had led to loss of many lives, while other cases have been unknowingly complicated with terminal consequences or unaffordable treatment level. The House is cognizant that if nothing is done to support some individuals and corporate bodies who have at various levels introduced and provided medical checkups, the situation will become unbearable with more severe consequences. The House resolved to mandate the Committee on Health Services to engage the Federal Ministry of Health, non-governmental organizations, and other stakeholders in the health sector to urgently commence public awareness campaign to sensitize the citizens on the need to present themselves for periodic medical checks. Urge the Federal Ministry of Health to provide the devices and logistics for basic checkups like obtained in the days of campaign against the spread of Ebola. Encourage all ministries, departments and agencies, schools and corporate bodies to facilitate the compliance with basic medical checks by their staff members. Also urge the ministry, departments and agencies and corporate bodies to deploy funds raised through National Health Insurance Scheme to provide regular basic medical checks for their staff and family members. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
While I'm not trying to reject your motion, but I don't know, have you thought of the cost implication that may come into the government agencies as you pass this motion?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. There is 1% fund on consolidated revenue fund that is meant for health services. 1% fund. And also what I'm talking about is, for us, is enlightenment and making public awareness for it.
Jega. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Mohammed Umar Jega, representing Alero Gondu Jega Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion
Heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Thank you. I put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's it. Respected colleagues, the 13th order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the management, disbursement, and infrastructure delivery by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in public institutions in Nigeria, standing now Honorable Emmanuel Okong-Udo. Honorable Okong-Udo is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Emmanuel Okong-Udo. I represent the good people of the Plenary Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to investigate the management, disbursement, and infrastructure delivery by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in public institutions of Nigeria. The House notes that the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, was established by the federal government of Nigeria in 2011 and saddled with the responsibility of managing, disbursing, and monitoring educational tax for government-owned tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Also note that government institutions were poorly funded and the scheme was designed to improve on management of funds disbursed to those institutions and to engage in rehabilitation, restoration, and consolidation of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Aware that the funds are made available to public institutions to provide focused and transformative interventions in public tertiary institutions, especially in areas of infrastructure and equipment. Concerned that even with TED Fund, the rate at which Nigerian universities are fast decaying is alarming due to the fact that all the resources needed for educational production processes, hostels, library space, well-ventilated and conducive lecture halls, equipped laboratories, updated student books and journals, office spaces, among others, are in short supply. Worried that the condition of learning in Nigerian tertiary institutions are diminishing and retrogressing at a very fast rate. Desirous that a pragmatic approach to be taken in utilization of funds already released to the institutions. Resolves to mandate the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services to investigate project delivery in government institutions with regards to TED Fund funding and also identify core needs and areas in different institutions that require urgent attention and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Sir, you see, Honorable, I want you to take cognizance that TED Fund is established by law, and they have their own areas of co-mandate of operation. So we can't come by motion to change what is provided in the law. And I want to say that even the conditions are stipulated as to how their disbursements are done. I'm not trying to preempt your report, but I'm trying to tell you that to change or to identify area of core need of institutions, no. We may be going outside the law and it's not within our purview. No, I'm not ruling out. Maybe it has to be amended because one is to investigate the disbursement. I agree, the management, you can do that one. But to go beyond that, no, it's not within our purview. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elvelu, and I represent the good people of our North Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. My amendment is to the prayer to read, mandate the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services to investigate project delivery in government institutions with regard to TED Fund funding and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
Seconder. Honorable Luke.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Luke,
Etienne Nsribon Surubium, Federal Constituency, Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion for amendment as moved by Honorable Ndude Dumelu and Minority Leader.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Respected colleagues, the 15th order of the day is constitution of a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Sabangida Lantan, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and related matters. All members will recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 5th November 2019, on a very large invited to move for the consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Benila is not on the floor. I move that the bill be stepped down by the leader of the House. And in the same token, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that item number 14 on the order paper also be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move.
Leave stepped down by the leader of the House. Respected colleagues, the 16th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemicals of Nigeria Act Cap 112 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for a role of chemists and regulation of practicing fees by members of the Institute. And for related matters, all members will recall that the bill was committed to a Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 5th November. All member Umar Jega is about to move for his consideration.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Mohamed Umar Jega, representing Alerugondo Jega Federal Constituency. I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria, ICCON Act, Cap 112 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for the role of chemist, the regulation of practicing fees by members of the Institute, and for related matters, the report be considered. I so move.
Seconder, Honorable Mikhail.
Thank you very much, Mr. Honorable Speaker. Rep. Isiaka Ayokuli Ibrahim. I represent the very good people of the Ewekoro Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to second the bill presentation as ably moved by Honorable Jega. So second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's a bit. The next order of the day is a consideration of a bill for an act to regulate the profession of agriculturists and to make provisions for the establishment function. It was down. Thank you. Move that would resolve the Committee of the Whole consider reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I'm Comrade Peter Jack Patterson, representing Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. I am from Edo State. I move that the House do dissolve to Committee of the Whole to consider a report.
Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martia Monguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. I second the motion that the House do resolve to a Committee of the Whole to consider the...
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. House has hereby dissolved Committee of the Whole to consider reports. Respected colleagues, the bill to consider for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act Cap 1112 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for the role of chemists, the regulation of practice, fees by members of the institute, and for later matters. I now invite Honorable Jega to give us the synopsis of the bill.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, my honorable colleagues. The bill before us seeks to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act in order to place in a proper perspective the profession of chartered chemists, as they are currently being undermined and regarded as technicians rather than professionals in their own right. Honorable Chairman, my honorable colleagues, you may wish to recall that the bill was passed in the last assembly and transmitted to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made before the end of the assembly. Hence, the bill is reintroduced with no changes as the one passed in the last assembly by virtue of Order 12, Rule 15 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives. The bill further seeks to amend the Act to address the obvious lacuna and also to regulate the membership of the profession regarding the professional fees and other matters incidental thereto. I therefore urge my honorable colleagues to support this bill so that it can be passed as also meet.
Next, giving synopsis. Our concern should be areas of amendment, inputs. What are the things that have been done that is of relevance? And that's where attention would naturally go, because there has been a law in place. And it will help us in fast-tracking our work. Now we have labels because the third column, the second column is what the input of what is recommended there. But you see, you have said retain. And if you say retain, enacted by the National Assembly of Nigeria, I didn't see it in the previous one, in the previous act. Amendment of the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act, this 2004, the Institute of Nigeria Chartered, it wasn't there, so it's not retained. It's a new provision. There is no calling for that. To say it's introduction or something like that.
There is 2 columns provided, or 3 columns. One is the provision of the Principal Act. Then the second column, the provision of this bill, where alterations or additions are made, are equally indicated. Then the last column is the comment, where those additions were indicated. This is exactly what we have gone through.
Yes. You said? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, without prejudice to Abu Jega and without prejudice to this report that we are going to consider here, Mr. Chairman, I believe that the live wire of any legislator is robust debate, robust engagement. And then the foundation upon which that debate rests is research. And you cannot do research if you don't have beforehand the issue that you are asked to come and debate. So I want to plead, sir. We've talked about this matter time and time again. If we were to have this report before this sitting, or before this plenary, it would have given each other, not only this report, that's why I say without prejudice to Abu Jega and this report, Every other report, what we have been doing here is just, like now I have just had a copy of this report handed over to me. Most of the advice given by the Attorney General to the President most times, which affect assent, are as a result of existence of certain clauses or in extant law that are at variance with the law that we are being passed. If we are given the opportunity, if we are being given bills and report beforehand, it would avail us opportunity for us to look at it and then come to debate robustly. So I'm pleading, sir. I'm making this appeal to the leadership that please, I believe that just like we are being sent order paper through mail a day before sitting, that they can do us a favor by sending other reports through that same mail for consideration. That's my only submission, sir.
Input, and I want to say sincerely noted. We'll do our best, and that's the more reason why we have notice paper. The notice paper is to give you notice for the week what you are expected to do, including consideration of reports. And this will help us if we follow strictly in terms of how we contribute. Debate is concluded. At this level, we are not talking about debate, but the input of the laws we are going to pass, that is very, very important. And I want to say that the chairman rules should take note of that. I have asked, and as I'm still directing, we'll soon have a meeting between us, chairman rules, and the clerk of the House of Representatives, so that we ensure that we follow some of these things. We do not want to be embarrassed in any way anymore. Whatever we are sending, we want to be sure that what we are sending is correct, and it will have the test of time. Thank you very much for your observation. Thank you.
On third time, this report is being circulated. I'm surprised that Honorable Luke is saying that this is first time. This second time, or third time, this report has been with members. This third time has been circulated here. I'm surprised that you are using it. This is the third time. This same report. You have it, maybe you misplaced it, but this is the third time.
Is it on notice for the plan legislative of the week? Are you sure? Yep. Thank you. Then you are covered. Yes, sir.
The fact that this one by accident was once presented does not mean that the practice is right. So I think he actually referred to the general practice, and it's very important that we concentrate on the fact that there is need for people to get these things in advance, irrespective of the fact that this one was circulated, accidentally on 2 other occasions.
This observation, was taken even at the last executive session. It was emphasized, echoed, and we are going to do as much as possible to follow and adhere to it. And leader, you are part of those who will also contribute to ensure we get. So while you are there, you are also here. Thank you. Thank you. Clause 1. Carried. I believe you are asked to go and do certain amendment. Have you done the reflection? This should have been the most important information. Thank you. Clause 2. Clause 3. Clause 4. Clause 5. Clause 4. Clause 5. But if I may come again, sorry. Go back to clause 3. I'm seeing for go back to page 6, Jaga. No, clause under amendment section 3. Can you connect between what is provided in the established act and then what you are doing?
My Chairman, some of the categories of membership, the fellows, members, corporate members, and the honorary fellows. These are the class of membership. The three sub 1, yes.
The numbering needs to be done properly. The numbering, you need to do the numbering well. Because it's 5.
No, something is missing.
Just step it down.
Of course it was.
Let's go and look for it. We'll go and look for it before the thing goes far.
It's all right, Macha.
Bill stepped down by the leave of the House. Consideration. Leader, move that will move to plenary to report progress.
Mr. Chair and my colleagues, Comrade Peter Herzijak Patterson once again. I move that the Committee of the Whole reverts to plenary to consider or to report progress rather. I so move.
Thank you, Chairman. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the leader of the House. I so second.
Respected colleagues, the House in Committee of the Whole considered the report of a bill on a bill for an act to amend the Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria Act, Cap 1112 Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for role of chemistry, the regulation of practice fees by members of the institute, and for related matters, deferred consideration of the report of the bill. Leader, move for adoption for the report. Adoption.
My dear Speaker and honorable colleagues, I move that the report be adopted. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, whip.
Honorable Speaker, honourable members, I second that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it.
No, my best chairman in the 8th Assembly. Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, I am again Comrade Peter Nhozija Akwatasin, representing Akoko Edo Federal Constituency. I am from the cradle of one man, one vote, Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I move that this House do adjourn till 11 o'clock of 3rd of March 2020. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honourable members, I second the motion for adjournment.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. The House is hereby adjourned to Tuesday, 3rd of March 11 a.m. 2020.